The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
He's used that SSN that very well may have been got for him at 17 when we think he's working his first job at Baskin-Robbins in Honolulu. Having said that, I think when he gets politically active in Chicago and starts thinking, he makes a run, he gets beaten his first time he makes a run for an elected job, but they say to him, you don't have a draft registration. He never bothered to register for the draft because using this foreign SSN, this foreign-born national SSN, or whatever SSN he's really been issued, he realizes that the first 3 digits of that will blow back, and he'll be exposed for this story. So he gets this, and remember Toot is working with an ability in Hawaii to see Social Security numbers, Grandma, and I don't know if Grandma played a role in it. I don't know if who played the role, but they gave him this SSN from Connecticut, and I think that he used it to forge or actually go to the draft board, but I think it's a forged card. And does that, Mike, does that make any sense to you as a theory?
Yes, I thought about that. You have to remember, when he was running for office, I don't think anybody, even the people, his handlers, had any idea of his past. And people started putting FOIA requests in, and that's how that draft card came out. I agree.
I absolutely agree.
They were panicking. They said, well, wait a minute. If you don't have a draft card, that's going to be questionable.
That's right.
And they hastily made a draft card, a total fabrication, only 2 digits on the postal stamp, an upside-down 8, and it came out a couple of weeks right before the election. Finally, the information was released, and it was looked at, and it was determined to be a forgery. They hastily made that birth certificate because Donald Trump had a lot of pressure on him.
That's right.
When you do something like that, you try to keep it confidential. You go to your buddy and go, come here. Here's a couple dollars, and we need you to do this. Here's a dark room with a little light. Sit in it, and we won't tell anybody.
I've dubbed that guy Jimmy down the hall. I don't believe for a second that when that birth certificate came here from Washington, that allegedly came on the night flight from Hawaii, I believe she brought nothing on that flight, that the birth certificate was manufactured by Judith Corley, brought nothing, that it was Jimmy down the hall manufactures a birth certificate that's layered. It's a PDF file. And the magic question here is, why would Corley, who's a private sector attorney, but she is in a law firm that the president's then general counsel, Bob Bauer, and why would she fly all the way to Hawaii to pick up a forged PDF file? It could have just been emailed to the White House or was already there. I do not believe that Corley brought anything back from the woman who's now dead, Loretta Fuddy. I don't believe she brought anything back. I believe Jimmy down the hall did it, and Corley is just a beard. What do you think of that?
It's a dog and pony show.
Thank you.
Steps had to be taken to actually make it look like someone went there, took it, flew back.
Yep.
They had to show that they went to Hawaii to get it. They had to show some kind of, like, when you go into a movie theater, you want to see it on the screen.
Ticket
stub. That's how they set the stage.
It was the ticket stub. Yeah. Judith Corley, who was, she's in the law firm that his general counsel Bob Bauer had taken a time out from, and how the story is how Corley had hopped a plane from D.C. to Honolulu, picked up an envelope from Loretta Fuddy, who was then the director of the Hawaiian Health Department, and brought it back to Barack Obama, commercial flight, 27 hours in the air, to bring that into that press conference. I throw the BS flag at that so hard. I mean, it's just a hoodwink story. I'm at a hard break. May I put you on hold and bring you back, Mike? Hang on, please. All right, Mike Volin is our guest, and I wish we had server stuff we could show you all of these new breakthroughs, but we don't, and it's not the fault of the radio station. We still are streaming, and you can still email us. And so having said that, coming up in a little bit, part of an ever-growing investigation into the life of the current president, Barack Obama. This is Mike Volin. We have spoken before. And at the drumbeat, the drumbeat has now begun to grow louder. The names that you and I were called and the attacks that were made on all of us have diminished with a couple of exceptions. And I think there is this general acceptance now among people with above room temperature IQ, with the exception, I said, of the politically correct and the stupid bloggers and others, that this guy's story is not straight. So if I were to ask you, given everything, Mike, that you have come across, what do you believe, and I'm using the word belief, not know, what do you think Barack Obama's true life story is?
It's a hidden past. He may not even know his true life story. We just don't know why they're trying to hide his true identity. It may be something simple as they don't want us to know who his father is. Mm-hmm. It's still a fabrication, the birth certificate. They may not want us to know his communist ties, and they're pretty evident with growing up with Frank Marshall Davis for almost 7 years, who mentored him from the age of 10 to 17. They may not want us to know that. Or maybe at the beginning they didn't want us to know that in order to get him in office, because they know that we would have said, what, we want a man in office that's a communist, that hung out with Frank Marshall Davis, that drank whiskey with him. It may be as simple as that, Peter. Peter, I want to jump back to that symposium idea that you had.
Yeah.
This is what happened. We've got patriotic people that came to my site. They came to Washington, D.C. in November last year. They took money out of their pockets. They flew from all over the country. And we decided to have one-on-one meetings with whoever would listen to us in the congressman's office. That's like me and you talking on the phone. I ask you for something. Well, we decided to do it the old-fashioned way. I tightened my belt. I knocked on your door. I came in your door, Peter. I sat across from you on a chair. We spoke face-to-face, man-to-man, eye-to-eye. I explained to you through my motions and my emotions about what we're doing and what we're talking about. And I also look for feedback from your eyes and your emotions. And like I said, the old-fashioned way, that's how we're doing it. Now, with that being said, we're going to have a sheriff kit, too. We're going to go back to Washington when the new information is released. We were planning on going back there anyway. And we're going to give them all the information, and we're going to sit down. We're going to go in larger numbers. I want to thank everybody that's worked with me, like Sharon Rondo from the Post and email. I can call up everybody connected with this, and I can get people to come on my Blog Talk radio show in a heartbeat, and we did last week when the birthing report came down to show support for him. And that's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it like average, old-fashioned Americans. We're going to sit down and have a civil discussion. We're going to show you the evidence. And then we're going to just stop and say, what do you think about this? And we'll answer all and every question. You know, Peter, we're on fire on my website lately, and there's two reasons. One, they're getting scared. People are saying, wait a minute, I put this man in office, there's something wrong, and Obamacare. I did say Obamacare. They're realizing, Peter, that they're getting hit in the wallet and the pocketbook. And if that's the case, so be it. And they're coming. I have doctors calling me all the time. Send me 20 kits. Well, I can't help you with Obamacare. Well, yes, you can, Mr. Volin, because I've come to believe it's the only way to put all of this to rest. Benghazi, Fast and Furious, whatever you may have, if we get them out of office. Their patients are flocking to the office and saying, I can't afford this. I'm going to go broke. I have to quit my job. I've been cut back to 20 hours a week for Obamacare. And they're putting them on the waiting room tables in the doctor's office. People are coming in unannounced, asking them about Obamacare. How can we afford this? How can we take care of this? What do I do? And they're educating them. And people are getting angry and they're getting mad. And they're saying, you know what, let me take a second look at this. I heard something about this in controversy, and it's all there for everybody to download for free. I've got my phone number. I don't hide Peter like an OBOT. I have my phone number, my cell phone number on the website. I treat you like a human being. My phone rings all day long. I talk to people. I calm their fears down. I try to tell them we are working on it. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Mike Zullo from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Let me ask you this. There's this rumor, if you would, that they have something next month, that Zullo and Joe and others are going to drop something next month. Have you heard any of that?
I can tell you this, and I did speak to Lieutenant Zullo yesterday. In a police investigation, they're going to announce a certain date because it's a criminal investigation, and they have a duty to do to the public, to protect the public, investigate crimes, report, make arrests, serve warrants.
I've heard this.
As this is coming along, more information is coming out. I asked Mike if there was a specific date. They don't have a specific date. and it's going to be soon, Peter, whether it's the middle of March. I think that's what the plan was. It might roll into April. I could tell you this. It is coming, and the information will be released. We're all apprehensive and on edge. Stand by. Hold on. The information is coming out.
And you believe, I mean, there's a lot of Internet talk, which is good and bad, but this sort of, you know, put on your seatbelts, get ready. We're going to go back into a deep dive on who is Barack Obama sometime in March. I don't know if that's true or not true, but certainly the websites have indicated that. So let me again come back to the question: if you were to try, and I've done this so many times to people, and I've gotten to the point now that people who used to be so horribly critical, and I got to tell you something, people drew political cartoons about me in the local Rocky Mountain News. I've been attacked in the Denver Post. But what happens, Mike, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is when I call these people and ask them to come into the studio and have a debate on Barack Obama's life, I either don't get a response, or the response that I get is, in most cases I don't get a response, but they'll say things like, I will not appear on your hate show, which is a way of saying I can't defend what I'm saying. I can't defend what I'm accusing you, and you're on the money. But I want to come full circle. And with the limited time we have left, if someone said, hey, what do you believe the true life story is? And, you know, no one ever explains away the nude pictures of his mother that were taken in Frank Marshall Davis's house. I think Joel Gilbert can make that case, you know, with the floorboards and with them in what's called the cove against the wall and the record LPs and that stuff. I mean, all this craziness and insanity. And if you say anything about his mother, then you're attacking his mother. I mean, we're not attacking his mother. I think they're legitimate questions. She's a kid posing nude with this guy who likes to take pictures of young girls, and he may be the dad. If you look at the pictures, the guy looks dead like him. He didn't look like his father. And then recently, and I'll give you a comment on this, you know the story of his brother that shows up, and his brother is in with a bunch of Hamas characters, and his picture is taken. He's in Yemen, and Malik Obama wearing the Hamas scarf that talks about death to Israel. And I pose this question, because you're talking about the MSM, I pose this question. If that was George Bush's goofy brother Neil, and he was in Germany wearing a Waffen-SS costume or uniform, standing with his arms around a couple of proto-Nazis, or, you know, this new party that's arrived in Germany, I think that Brian Williams and the New York Times would have a field day with it. But here's this picture. It's Malik Obama, who is the head of the Barack Obama Foundation in Washington, D.C., Barack Obama's best man at his marriage, and he's wearing the scarf, and he's attending a conference of Hamas supporters and Hamas terrorists. And it's though it didn't happen. It hasn't happened. And I'm thinking to myself, you're not going to get anyone to jump into this, are you?
It's pretty clear that they're covering up for him every which way they can. Let's go to Chris Matthews. At the beginning, he said Obama was born in Indonesia and had Muslim roots. And then all of a sudden, when Obama came the front runner, he changed the story. You don't hear about that.
No.
That's how fast they can change the story.
But what do you think? What do you believe? With about 3 minutes left, what do you believe the story is?
I believe they had a candidate who speaks well, likable, young, appeals to everybody, tells you everything that you want. He's smart, Peter.
Oh, very smart. He's a lot smarter than people think.
Everything we wanted in a candidate. He was the perfect candidate. And then as they started digging in his past, he has got a very strange past. They came up with a lot of questions about his past, and it comes down to that birth certificate being a forgery. Who is his real father? Who is his real mother? We don't even know she's his real mother. We just don't know where he came from, and it's not a matter. It used to be where he was born. Let's verify his citizenship so we can say he's the president. They're hiding something else. He's got too many half-brothers and half-sisters. We just don't know, Peter, and the people rose up like me, you, your audience, and everybody else that comes to my website, and it will happen one day, Peter. I want to tell your audience, hold on, it will happen. Stay close to my website for update information. Call me, I'll give you updates. Peter, I want to invite you on my Blog Talk radio show one day.
You're done, brother. You know how to find me. I'll put you on hold, speak with Case, and I'll do the show with you.
Peter, thanks again for being a true American.
All right, I'll put you on hold, brother. There you go. Okay.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.